All right, folks, Letitia James is back in the headlines, and this time she's not going after Donald Trump. She's going after Zillow and Redfin. Yes, the same New York Attorney General who spent years in the national spotlight suing Trump is now turning her attention to what she's calling an illegal scheme between two of the biggest names in real estate tech. This actually makes way more sense than the lawsuit that she filed against Donald Trump, which subsequently she got herself into a bit of hot water over. Depending on who you ask, you guys, this is either a long overdue crackdown on corporate collusion or another high-profile political move from one of the most controversial AGs in the country. Either way, it's big, because when Letitia James jumps into a lawsuit, it tends to make noise. Here's what's going on. Zillow and Redfin, two of the largest online housing platforms, are being sued by 5 states for allegedly cutting a deal to stop competing with each other in the apartment rental market. According to the complaint, Zillow straight up paid Redfin $100 million to shut down its apartment advertising business and hand over its clients. We talked about all of this in my video last week, but I'm going over it again for everybody who is new. Make sure you hit subscribe for all of the Zillow lawsuit updates that I'm going to be dropping in the future. So instead of out-innovating Redfin, Zillow just bought them out of the game. It's like paying your rival football team not to show up on game day. Didn't Tom Brady get in trouble for it? No, it was like deflating footballs. Either way. Redfin then laid off about 450 employees tied to that side of the business, and under the agreement, they can't re-enter the apartment ad market for 9 years. Now, before I go any further, if you want to see where the real changes in housing are happening, the price cuts, the soft spots, the opportunities most people miss, that's exactly what we break down every week in the Deal Watch newsletter. It's our free newsletter that tracks what's actually moving in the housing market, not just what companies like Zillow want you to see. You can grab the link down in the description below if you want to stay ahead of the noise. Now, back to the lawsuit. New York, Arizona, Connecticut, Washington, and Virginia have all joined forces, a rare bipartisan move these days, might I add, claiming Zillow and Redfin violated federal antitrust lawsuits. The states say this deal kills competition, drives up costs for advertisers, and leaves renters and landlords with fewer options. The irony, these are the same companies that love to brag about, quote, empowering consumers. But according to the lawsuit, they were empowering themselves instead. That is irony. The point is, if you go on Redfin looking for rentals, you're basically just scrolling Zillow with a different color scheme. And it's not as pretty of a color scheme, might I add. Here's a quote from Letitia James. She said this bluntly: Zillow's attempt to shut down its competition could drive up costs for advertisers and leave renters with fewer options. And whether you like her or not, she's right on that part. When competition dies, prices go up. The market for online apartment listings is already concentrated. Just 3 companies, Zillow, Redfin, and CoStarsApartments.com, control about 85% of all revenue. When 2 of those 3 decide to team up, the result is pretty predictable. Fewer ads, less innovation, higher prices, and renters already crushed by historic housing costs get stuck paying more for less. But here's the interesting twist. The lawsuit says the deal doesn't just affect big apartment buildings. Right now, it technically applies to properties with 25 units or more. But there's a clause that could expand it to every apartment building, meaning if this goes unchecked, Zillow could quietly become the gatekeeper for almost every rental listing online. That's the bigger issue here, you guys. Zillow isn't just trying to be a listings site anymore. They're trying to be the infrastructure of housing, buying homes, advertising homes, selling loans, and now potentially controlling how rentals get listed and discovered. Redfin, now owned by Rocket Mortgage, isn't far behind. It's not hard to see where this is heading. Fewer players, more consolidation, and less transparency for regular people trying to find a place to live. Now, of course, both companies are claiming innocence. Zillow says the deal benefits renters by giving them access to more listings. Redfin says it helps property managers reach a larger audience. That's corporate speak for, we did it for you. Now, but let's be real. When was the last time a billion-dollar company did anything purely for your benefit? The attorneys general are asking the courts to declare the deal illegal, block Zillow and Redfin from continuing it, and possibly force them to unwind parts of the agreement to restore competition. Basically, they want to break up the monopoly before it becomes permanent. And I'm not against that. Now, whether this actually changes anything remains to be seen. These cases move at a glacial pace, and Zillow has the resources to drag this out for years. But symbolically, it's important. It signals that regulators are finally starting to notice how concentrated the housing market has become. And let's not ignore the politics here. Letitia James going after two massive real estate companies right before an election year is, well, let's say just a little bit timely. She's already known nationally for going head-to-head with Trump, and she's got to repair what the damage that she did there, because heaven knows everybody is after Letitia James right now. But hey, if her ambition happens to line up with protecting renters, maybe we all can benefit from that, and maybe she'll restore some of that image that she lost. Either way, this is a story worth watching, not because it's just about Zillow or Redfin, but because it's about control. When 2 or 3 tech companies end up controlling the flow of housing information, they control the market and ultimately your wallet. So what do you think? Is it a legitimate effort to protect consumers, or just another political showpiece from Letitia James? Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And again, if you want to see what's really happening in the housing market, where the cracks are forming, and which cities are cooling the fastest, make sure you are subscribed to the Deal Watch. It's free, it's quick, and it keeps you ahead of the headlines. Don't forget to like the video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next housing update. Because whether it's politics or profit, one thing's for sure, when the big players start partnering up, it's never the renters or owners who win. See you on the next one. Later!